Dr. Adaobi sat across from Jimmy Fallon on his late-night talk show, her poised demeanor captivating the audience. "This must have taken so much from you to get to this point," Jimmy said. "I'm sure your story has been a tremendous encouragement to many women. We understand now why you pursue your mission with such passion. So, tell us, what can we expect from your journey of leading women to stand up for their rights? And what about your battle over your son with one of Nigeria's wealthiest families, the Bayodes?" Adaobi smiled warmly, her eyes reflecting a steely resolve. "Well, I won't delve too deeply into specifics," she replied. "But I will say this. Ladies, women, mothers, it's time to come out of your shells and become the pillars you were always meant to be. Marriage isn't a one-person affair. As the Bible says, 2 shall chase 10,000. It's time to end the maltreatment and cruelty. Join our women's organization and become a woman of power." She paused, her voice hardening with determination. "And as for the Bayodes, I'm coming for my son with everything I've got. No more hiding for me." "Wow, that's incredible," Jimmy exclaimed, his excitement palpable. "Dr. Adaobi, it's been a pleasure having you on the show." "The pleasure is mine, Jimmy," she responded graciously. Jimmy turned to the audience, his enthusiasm infectious. "Let's give a big hand to Dr. Adaobi, an inspiration to us all. Her 16-year effort to empower women has been a tremendous success. She's known as the voice of women and will be celebrating her 40th birthday soon, with many dignitaries, including His Excellency, President Yusuf Ali, expected to attend. It's going to be a massive celebration." The audience erupted in applause as Dr. Adaobi waved goodbye. Her journey far from over, but her impact already immeasurable. Auntie Moami sat at the breakfast table with her sons, watching Dr. Adaobi's live show with Jimmy Fallon. Pride radiated from her face as she saw Adaobi, her baby girl, making a significant impact on the community. "Auntie Adaobi has now become a global figure in our society," Bami remarked, his eyes glued to the screen. "No, not just Adaobi," Doni corrected. "She's now Dr. Adaobi. Show some respect." They all burst into laughter. "I'm incredibly proud of her," Auntie Moami added, a tear of joy in her eye. "Who would have thought that a little cub would someday become a lioness, feared and respected by many?" She sighed and shook her head. "Life is indeed a refining fire." "Auntie Adaobi's birthday party is in 2 days," Bami mentioned. "I can't wait," Doni interjected. "That's the main reason we came back to Nigeria." He grinned excitedly. "Oh, so you two didn't come back for your mother?" Moami teased. "Is a party more important than me now?" "No, Mommy," they both protested, laughing. Bami and Doni quickly defended themselves, expressing how much they missed her and promising to stay longer than planned. Their assurances made her even happier. "You know," she began, her eyes twinkling, "there are 2 lovely young ladies who live a few blocks away. They are so well-mannered and respectful. Despite their wealthy background, their humility has really impressed me. I've already invited them for dinner tonight." "Mommy!" Bami and Doni exclaimed in unison, their surprise evident. One evening, as Adaobi and her escorts were heading home, a vehicle blocked their path, making it impossible to pass. An elderly man was tinkering around the car, trying to fix it. 2 police officers stepped out of their car, AK-47s in hand, and approached the man to see what the problem was. Suddenly, 4 hefty young men leaped out of the bushes, opening fire and taking down the 2 officers. Panic seized Adaobi and her entourage. As they attempted to escape in their cars, a truck blocked their rear exit. Her men jumped out, returning fire with the attackers, but many of the officers were quickly overwhelmed and fell. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Sarah, Adaobi's friend and an ex-US naval officer, grabbed Adaobi's hand and sprinted into the forest. The attackers pursued them relentlessly. Reaching a point where they could no longer be found, Sarah led Adaobi to a hidden spot by the sea. The men searched frantically but saw only the stillness of the water. Frustrated, they eventually left. Once the coast was clear, Sarah and Adaobi emerged from their hiding place and swam to safety. The night was silent, save for the gentle lapping of the waves, as the two women made their way through the water, determined to survive. Sarah and Adaobi burst into an open field, the moonlight casting a silvery glow on the wet grass. Adaobi, exhausted and drenched, collapsed onto the ground, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Sarah, determined and alert, quickly got to her feet and urged Adaobi to rise. "We need to move, Adaobi," Sarah insisted, her voice a mix of urgency and concern. "We can't stay here. They'll be back any moment." Adaobi, trembling and weary, pushed herself up with trembling arms. With Sarah's steadying hand, she found the strength to stand. The two women, drenched and weary, began to move swiftly across the field, the threat of their pursuers ever present in their minds. News of the shootout and Adaobi's disappearance dominated television broadcasts across the nation. Reporters delivered updates with a sense of urgency and concern. In a shocking turn of events, prominent activist Dr. Adaobi has gone missing following a violent confrontation on the outskirts of the city, one anchor reported. Eyewitnesses describe a chaotic scene where heavily armed men ambushed her convoy, resulting in a fierce gunfight. Another station highlighted the gravity of the situation. Authorities are on high alert as the search for Dr. Adaobi intensifies. Her close friend, Sarah, an ex-US naval officer, is believed to have accompanied her into hiding. The nation watches anxiously, hoping for their safe return. Footage of the shootout and the frantic search efforts played on repeat, capturing the attention of viewers and adding to the growing sense of unease. The mysterious disappearance of Dr. Adaobi had become a national crisis, with everyone praying for her swift and safe recovery. Donnie switched off the television, unable to bear the grim news any longer. Auntie Moami wept uncontrollably, her grief filling the room. Cynthia and Catherine, the kind-hearted girls from a few blocks away, tried to console her, offering reassurances that Dr. Adaobi would be found safe and sound. Seeking solace, Auntie Moami retreated to her prayer room. There she poured out her heart to God, her tears mingling with her fervent prayers. Her intense sorrow and devotion cast a somber shadow over the house, leaving Bamiyi, Donnie, and the girls deeply concerned. The weight of the moment was palpable, each of them silently praying for Adaobi's safe return.